Hey there! New Special Heroes banner out. This is normally our Dancer banner. Silhouette said something about the 12. Well, that's a Jugdral thing, so a lot of people have been predicting a genealogy banner. Personally, I'd like to see some Frasier on there. No, I'm not biased. But let's let the video speak for itself, shall we? The other thing that I hear the 12 and think of is Final Fantasy XIV, so that's my wild pick for who's going to be on this banner, but that's unlikely. I'd recognise that face anywhere. Scion of Astra, Larcei.
In our land,
there she is.
Axe
Infantry. Fun fluffy hat there. And let's take a look at her skills. Whirling Grace is for PRF Axe. They've been putting PRFs on these Dancer banners recently. Yep. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, runs attack speed, def res +5 to unit, neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. And also, if unit speed is greater than foe speed during combat, neutralizes penalties that inflict special cooldown -X on unit during combat. They have power crept Sword of the Creator, is what I immediately see here. They've power crept Sword of the Creator and they've done it on an Axe unit. You've got the same special trigger, cooldown count -1 reduction. You've got the same null follow-up. You've got almost the same guard prevention. The only difference is this doesn't prevent the opponent from charging their special faster, but in exchange for that, you're getting +5 to all stats, because this year is 2021. +5 to all stats is just a basic condition on every unit these days. Well, that's gonna be a strong one, alright. Byleth's effect. Everyone knows that Byleth's effect is like pretty much a perfect answer to a lot of tanks. It's only really let down by the fact that Byleth doesn't quite have the stats to back it up when everything's said and done. With +5 to all stats and this being a newer unit as well, maybe now we're going to actually see something happen. That's followed up as well by the PRF special, Larcei's Regnal Astra, boosts damage by 40% of units' speed. Larcei traditionally always been a very fast unit, and 40% is a big number, especially for something that's going to be on one cooldown, so it's always going to be coming out, so long as you're getting the double, because you've got that guard prevention. 40% is, I think that's bigger than... That's going to be bigger than a Moonbow, that's going to be bigger than even a Dragon Fang, a decent proportion of the time. Also, something I've just noticed, I've been calling this a Dancer banner. There is no dance here. No dance. Looking down, I don't see any dances down there either. So maybe it's a break from the usual. Maybe this is literally just a Jugdral themed banner, like the Plegian themed banner earlier. In which case, that's interesting. I'm not sure why they'd put Jugdral characters on it in that case, but sure, I guess. In the A slot, speed def solo 4. Pretty standard. Larcei's always had solo conditions. This time it's not in her PRF anymore, but it is in her A slot, and it is a new one. So that's good for people who wanted to use that. The return of Frenzy free. Charlotte is no longer the only source of Frenzy. And of course the classic Joint Drive Attack. Very strong kit, very strong, notably dual phase kit. It's just at start of combat and 25% condition. There's no initiating combat or receiving combat conditions in here. It's literally just all the time. And this is for new Byleth as an axe, which is very interesting, because normally they put this sort of stuff on swords. That's how it is, but no, axe Larcei. Ironically enough, also probably better than sword Larcei. Make of that what you will. Continuing on here.
Don't treat me like
yeah, there's the Regnal Astra. There's a lot of damage. 44 going up to 65. So also very high speed stat. Is that Julia? Again with the fluffy hats. That seems to be... Yeah, that's Julia. Julia is a red tome flyer. And decent second slot thing going on here. The classic second slot on these special banners gets an inheritable weapon, Luminous Grace Plus. At start of turn restores 10 HP. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed plus 5 to unit during combat. Very simple, but you know, it's usable. 10 HP may not seem like a lot, but getting that at the start of every turn is very nice to have, and it's giving plus 5 to 2 stats. A lot of inheritable weapons are kind of at or around that level, but here it's at the basically always active condition stage, and you're getting 10 HP, so it really is always active, because that's going to shunt you back above 25% HP whenever you need it. Also, this is giving you a bit of safety against things like bolt towers, bolt traps, splash damage, all of those good things. The dual rally is nothing really exceptional to comment on. It's going to be useful for scoring, arena scoring if you're inheriting stuff from her. Speaking of which, she also has attack speed push 4, which is strong. Interestingly, going for more of an attack speed direction here. Julia is normally more of an attack res character than attack speed, but this one looks fully offensive in terms of build. And then Julia's classic B slot, light and dark. Well, this seems like a good unit, don't get me wrong. I'm just not sure why they decided to remake Julia like this, exactly. For a lot of remakes where they've made like special heroes versions of a character, they've tried to at least make what the character does similar but a bit different from how that character usually plays. And I guess they have by switching Julia over to a speed character here, but aside from that, this is just a Julia with no PRF. This is a Julia. And don't get me wrong, Julias are good, but I'd have thought they'd have switched up a little more, really. Not gonna lie. Bizarre, honestly, bizarre. Let's keep watching. Looks like she does have pretty high res as well, though, if she's taking 0 from that green mage, although she does have triangle advantage. Ooh, Lewyn! What's Lewyn got? I love the fluffy hats, I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely love those big fluffy hats. Bring those back, I love that. Lewyn, of course, third unit on the banner, is in the classic demote position. Drifting Grace Plus, at start of turn restores 10 HP, at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed plus 5 to unit during combat. It's the same tome, just in a different colour, so now you can inherit it on whoever you want. Luna, attack res solo free. Okay, and here's something that I am actually legitimately hyped for, though. Infantry flash free. Infantry allies within 2 spaces gain, if unit speed is greater than foe speed, grants special cooldown charge plus 1 per unit's attack. This is not a new skill. It's in the game before, but the only place you were able to get it before this was Legendary Marth, and I mean, who's foddering off Legendary Marth for infantry flash fodder? Be honest, it's probably not you. He has bonus doubler, I'm pretty sure, right? It's bonus doubler fodder, that's how it is. But infantry flash, legitimately, it's a skill that people often forget. It's a underused skill, because if your team setup is correct, it allows you to, in your infantry ball teams, offload what's normally an S slot occupying skill, Flashing Blade, onto a whole other unit. In fact, I've run Infantry Flash, Infantry Rush on Sophis before, where I've been forced to use Sophis, because, well, Sophist not exactly the best combat unit, but being able to use her as a support like that to free up S slots on other units for way more impactful S slot skills, things like, well, nowadays you can run Mystic Boost in there, you can run a very strong, what's it called, a Blade Session in there for +9 attack and speed, right? Being able to get that and get that special acceleration as well, beautiful. What I'm saying is don't sleep on Infantry Flash. Aside from that though, Lewyn as a special 4-star Demo, not really a particularly exciting kit. I mean, it's good that we've got another Lewyn, don't get me wrong. Lewyn's a great guy, he deserves more of him in existence, but I still feel a little sad that he's kind of underwhelming like this. Maybe his stats are going to be good. And for a certain Levinsetti out there, well, sorry this had to happen to your favourite. At least regular Lewyn is still absurdly strong, right? Well. In any case, Infantry Flash, definitely worth it. And then last but not least, who's the banger supreme, the harmonic unit? That's Leif, and is that Selef or is that Selef's dad?
You certainly look smart.
As do you.
That looks like Selef, yeah. So here's our Thracia representation, Leif, and oh boy, they've gone for it this time, a wall of text alert. Starting off, he's a bow unit, he's got that bow of 12. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. Oh, Canto 1. Let's begin. Canto 1. Mustn't forget the Canto 1. Right. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. Effective against flying foes. Unit initiates combat, or if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 75% of start of combat, and foe uses magic or staff. Grants attack speed, defense, res +5 to unit during combat, and also, gotta love the and also, if unit's HP is greater than 1 and foe would reduce unit's HP to 0, unit survives with once 1 HP. So a miracle effect, once per combat, does not stack. And then of course we explain how Canto works. Interesting condition. If unit initiates combat, or if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 75% of start of combat, and foe uses magic or staff, we kind of need some clarification there, because if unit the and foe uses magic or staff, I'd like to imagine that's attached to just the 75% condition, but it's Fire Emblem Heroes, it could be anything. If this Harmonic Leaf has Miracle just whenever initiating combat, that's really good. That is really, really, really good. Okay, with Mystic Boost, that's a miracle for free every time you attack. That's the classic combo that's always existed. But even despite that, Miracle is hugely impactful in the sense that there are a lot of targets out there that are tough and that you need multiple attacks to chip through. But if they kill you on the counter attack, then you can't use multiple attacks to chip through. You've got to try and one-shot them. If you've got Miracle, maybe that's no longer a problem because you can survive that first combat, and now you're free to take a second combat to go and finish them off. Big effect. The only, honestly, Miracle has been very overlooked recently. A few Feytubers I know, Marbles, Ferrison use Miracle quite well, but aside from that, the fact that Miracle has only been printed on units that kind of don't really use it particularly well. Hell, for one, has the weakness to Tome, so it's always going to prevent her from being able to make perfect use of it. And Selef is in kind of an awkward spot with how he uses his Miracle in his base form, because Well, he needs to get back up above 50% to use it. That's always going to be tough. But I think this is going to really show people the power of miracles. Can't believe I said that. It's really good, okay? Canto 1 is a neat little extra, and then in the special slot we're really taking from Legendary Leif and Leif here. We've got Neuron Seal. This is Legendary Leif's PRF special. It's a Gale Force, except it's not. If unit initiates combat, grants another action to unit after combat, once per turn. When special triggers, restricts movement to one space, that's gravity, on unit and pair up cohort through their next action. It's a ranged unit with Gale Force. This is strong, right? This is very strong. Legendary Leif by himself was, prior to units with Canto getting printed all the time, the premier hit and run unit, because having that one range lets you hit and run from one space further away. That's big. And then you get to use your Gale Force to step back out, and then get pulled back out from there. Once you get danced from your step out, of course, that clears the gravity off you, so you're free to then run as far as you want. Legendary Leif, not Legendary Leif, Harmonic Leif here has it even better, because he has Canto 1. If you attack, trigger Gale Force, move one step out, and attack on that one step out, something like a structure or anything else, you then get to Canto 1 after that as well. You're now 2 spaces away. It's super easy with Neuron Seal to just get in, slap a guy, and then get so far away once all's said and done. Attack speed catch 4 has an interesting implication about his stats as well. Normally, Leif, in his legendary form at least, isn't particularly exceptionally fast, but with attack speed catch 4, maybe this Duo Leif is going to be kind of fast. Worth considering. S-Drink, his other classic skill, the B slot at the start of turn 1, restores 99 HP and grants special cooldown count -1. It's a glorified Quicken Pulse. For 99 HP is only going to be useful in a few very specific circumstances, although in those few very specific circumstances that is an immensely good thing to have. Like, you're using him in Tempest Trials, you're using it in any other sort of chain battle, being able to go into each new battle completely refreshed. Really good for just not running out of momentum, not getting chipped down to death every single time. And then Pulse Smoke in the C slot. Pulse Smoke, again, synergizing with that role as a hit and run unit, because it is the quintessential skill that you want to apply and then get out so that your tanks can handle it, right? You've met a team that is pre-charged, you take that pre-charge off of them, and then you just run away and let someone else deal with the aftermath. Really, chef's kiss. And hey, it's Leif! We get to see more Leif, and let's not forget as well, Leif, Harmonic unit, does look fast enough to outspeed this blue bow. I'm not sure how much speed that... 41 speed! Okay, so yeah, he's fast as all hell. And here's the Harmonic skill. Grants the following effect to unit and allies from the same titles as unit from one turn. Resonance Blades, Desperation, and if unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Ho, ho, ho. Resonance Blades. Attack speed +4. It's handy. It's a buff, but it's not a visible buff, so it's immune to things like panic. Even though it is a visible buff, it's not... You know what I mean. Or you don't know what I mean, and that's fine. But basically what's important to remember is it's like a visible buff, but better. Desperation. If unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. They're kind of playing more into his legendary Leif role of having a brave weapon and being slow here, except now he's fast, but still attacks twice before you get a chance to do anything. Really big, just killing before you have to take any hits in return. And if he's down to 2 cooldown thanks to S-Drink or thanks to anything else, that's still enough for him to hit, charge his Gale Force and start moving back out again. And then, if unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. This is not quite null follow-up attack, but most things that run follow-up prevention only run one layer of it. So it's basically the same, right? It's cancelling out that one layer, which brings it back down to a speed check, and we're fast as all hell, so we hopefully win that speed check. Except, reminder, this also applies to allies from the same titles as units. So if you're building an actually harmonized team, there are slow units out there who can absolutely take advantage of this. In fact, you know which slow unit can definitely absolutely take advantage of this? I've been naming him all this time. It is Legendary Leif. Think about it. Legendary Leif, brave weapon, 3 quads. 3 quads with desperation. 3 quads with desperation. Who, mama, you gotta love it. I think maybe not quite as game-breaking a harmonized skill as all of the extra action harmonized skills are, because those things absolutely crack open the action economy, but this is still immensely impactful. I like this Leif a lot. I like the Leif Seliph kind of interplay as well. They're both, well, I don't know what words to use to describe them, but they are both alike in a way that is, let's not get philosophical about it. I think this is a very strong unit. Still kind of confused on why this banner is the way it is. Kind of sad as well that they've ditched dancers out of the equation. Because getting a new influx of new dancers every year was actually pretty good, especially for new players who might not have great dancer options. Let's keep an eye out for a Tempest Trial unit here. Hair color, hang on, let me brainulate this. Process of elimination. I think that's Nana. Interesting that Nana's still a staff unit. I think that's the first free flying staff that we'll be able to get as a Tempest Trials unit. I like it. I like that pick. Still kind of sad that we're not really seeing any new units on this banner. But these are units who all would have kind of liked the alt. Except for Julia. Julia, there's too many Julias already. Well, there's not. There can never be too many Julias, but there are so many Julias. In any case, I doubt there's anything more here. Just a confirmation that Lewyn's a 4-star. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all next time. Hurrah!